Guys, I kid you not. This has got to be the stupidest cartoon I have ever seen. And boy, in my life have I seen some crappy animated shows and films. First of all, let's look at flaw number one. You're making a movie, a cartoon movie, about the sinking of the Titanic. Sure, because every other kid that enjoys cartoons would absolutely adore any tragic event in history as long as you sugarcoat it. That's right, there's just not enough these days that kids aren't exposed to prematurely. Hey, while you're at it, let's show kids that puppet show about the Holocaust, a nursery rhyme about the Vietnam War, or even that pop-up book about Hiroshima. Are you clinically insane? What could possibly come into your head to think, let's turn a sinking ship into something kids can enjoy? Thus begs the first question you likely have on your minds. What could they have done to get kids interested in this movie, aside from making it a cartoon? Well, that answer is quite simple. Animated talking animals. Dogs, cats, mice, birds. How freaking original. But no, wait, it gets even better. Human characters are brought in just to be served as idiots who probably couldn't figure out how a mousetrap works without snapping it on every finger and toe on their body. But you know what's probably the lowest point to drag kids' eyes closer to the screen? Brace yourself, people, for I kid you not, there is a dog doing a rap music video. For absolutely no reason at all. He even has an unseen DJ playing in the background. Not convinced that this movie's completely stupid yet? Well, don't worry. You probably will by the end of this review. What's the plot of this film? Oh, you mean aside from a voyage that kills over 1,000 people? Well, it's about two star-crossed lovers named Angelica and William, from two very different social levels, who fall in love aboard the majestic ship, but are separated through the perils of the doomed vessel. Golly, that sounds an awful lot like another movie that was about people who fall in love aboard a boat, but they're divided by places in society. What was that movie called? As a matter of fact, what was the boat called anyway? Man, this is bugging the heck out of me. Just give me a minute here and I'll... Oh, you've got to be friggin' kidding me! This cartoon is nothing but a total rip-off of James Cameron's classic hit Titanic. But it's like the makers of this movie are intentionally trying to steal it. The only difference is that Angelica takes the place of Jack and William takes the place of Rose. Also, what's the age difference between these two? Angelica looks like she's about 14 from the beginning, and this kid William looks like he's in his mid-20s. What are the other flaws of this movie? Believe me, people, I love doing movie reviews, but my computer doesn't have the capacity for uploading a 3-hour-long video. This film is not original whatsoever compared to James Cameron's Titanic, cartoons, or your stereotype romance movie. It is the biggest and most useless cliche I have ever seen. As if ripping off the original Titanic movie wasn't bad enough, this movie also steals from other beloved animated films. Don't believe me? See if you can go through this list and not recognize a famous movie you watched when you were 5. There's an old lady in this movie who has a pair of British nincompoops to do her bidding, smokes, wears animal fur, looks totally evil, and has white streaks going through her hair. Don't recognize the movie yet? Well, don't worry, because the two Dalmatians with red and blue collars who have puppies in the end will likely jog your memory. But wait, it gets even better. Angelica is an orphan who gets taken in by her wicked stepmother and her two taunting stepsisters. Not only that, but all three of them look entirely based on the Disney versions of this cherished fairy tale. And on a side note, half the time the stepmother sounds like a man. And finally, a family of foreign mice stow away aboard the ship and sail toward America. The youngest mouse has a nasty little habit of getting into trouble. I'm sorry, did anybody else watch An American Tail? I could name more, but those three are enough to prove my point. Not to mention that because this started as a European animated film, the English dubbing is noticeably out of sync in some places. And there are times where I don't understand what they're saying at all. Another sad thing about this movie is that it doesn't even look like impressive animation. One minute it looks like these characters are three-dimensional, and the next it looks like South Park has a better animation budget. It's like this movie went through 3 animators who realized how crappy it was going to be and said I quit. And then they just brought in the next guy. Honestly, could you blame them? Overall, this has got to be the worst animated movie I've seen, not to mention one of the worst movies I've seen. It's not funny, it's not creative, it's a cliche, it's not interesting at all, and it's practically making fun of the Titanic sinking. I swear, people, in the very beginning, it looks like a lady in the lifeboat is laughing at the ship going under. There was nothing at all I liked about this movie. I'm giving it a 0 out of 10, and even 100 times more viewings could not make me change my mind. You may be asking, how did I even hear about this movie? Well, years back when my sister had a birthday party, she and her friends rented this and a couple other videos. Before I left the room to go steal some extra slices of pizza, I thought for a brief second, they made a cartoon about the Titanic? So when I found this movie recently, I decided to watch the thing. Big mistake. Today, she doesn't even remember the movie. Boy, is she lucky.